Alright, so we're a little bit late to this party, but we have finally seen the 2018 version of A Star Is Born, and it's pretty good! Woo! Is that all you're gonna add to it?
Yeah, just a big old woo! That's all I've got to say. I return with a woo!
Let's do it. So A Star Is Born is the 2018 remake of the 1976 film, which is a remake of the 1954 film, which is a remake of the 1937 film.
That's too many remakes.
That's a couple to, well...
Or is it?
No, because this one's pretty goddamn good, so we're good.
Now, the film is written, directed, produced, and starring Bradley Cooper. I mean...
Wow. Yeah, wow. It's his first film as well, which is like, what?
And alongside him is the absolute goddess, Lady Gaga. My goodness. And rounding off the cast, we have Sam Elliott in a supporting role, which we will get to a little bit later because...
Yeah. Oof. And this film is not scientifically accurate at all because it has nothing to do with astrology or space or stars or anything like that. It's more about showbiz. I just did the jazz hands then. What? It is about a successful musician, Jackson Maine, played by Bradley Cooper, who stumbles across this unknown singer in Lady Gaga's Ally. I can't remember what her last name is. Let's just go with Ally. And basically the two form a relationship, this kind of really beautiful bond that basically projects Ally into stardom. That's what it is. A star is born, or a star is technically created in this film as well. So like, yeah, that's a star is created. Doesn't have as much of a ring to it, does it?
Let's go with a star has exploded.
What?
Isn't that how stars are formed? They explode.
Definitely, that's not science. Let's talk about acting.
Yes, let's talk about acting. Oh my god, where to begin? I actually don't even know because I was just blown away from start to finish by this entire film, and I didn't even think about the acting the whole time because it is...
It's so authentic.
It's so authentic. It's so real. And I just feel like I'm right there in this world. I mean, Bradley Cooper delivers his greatest performance yet.
Definitely.
And given the fact that he also directed this film, and that's such a hard thing to do, both direct and act and write in a film and produce. I mean, but his performance is so good. So articulate, so well thought out, so well researched. Like, it just bleeds through the camera.
He totally just falls into this role. And it's really... just stunningly real. Like, it really does feel like this is a genuine actual person that he is portraying. The actual idea of the portrayal falls away and you're actually just watching this character, Jackson Maine, do his thing.
Now, I want to speak about vulnerability because vulnerability is so goddamn important for any actor on earth. They need to be vulnerable in front of camera to allow the audience to empathetically connect with them so we can really see the story through their character's eyes. And here, we have Lady Gaga give one of the greatest performances I've seen in such a long time. And my goodness, talking about vulnerability, wow, she's achieved a whole new level of it. For starters, let's just talk about the fact that Lady Gaga in our world is known to be this
flamboyant,
over the top, crazy ass, high celebrity that is just so incredibly talented, always, you know, wearing different costumes, shape-shifting her outfits.
The meat dress. None of that going on here.
None of that going on here. And the first time we see her in this film, no makeup whatsoever.
Just totally stripped back. Like, that in its own is such an achievement. They've managed to completely remove this idea of who Lady Gaga is so that you're just seeing this character. Like, that on its own is just an achievement in itself.
It is just so profound, and it rings true throughout this entire film. Like, that vulnerability, the rawness that she achieves on camera. And I think it comes from the beautiful connection that the two of them have.
Oh, the chemistry is off the charts.
Both as like respected artists, you know, in the story and outside, in their own world as well. And you hear them speak about this film and you're like, I understand why they got what they got on screen.
This is genuinely one of the most real connections I've ever seen between two actors in a film, and that becomes even more impressive when this is kind of the first time Lady Gaga has acted in a movie. So the fact that they're able to both bring that much kind of heat to the role straight up, and both of these characters just to have this level of kind of connection and chemistry and this kind of flow between them, it's honestly kind of unreal. And the supporting cast, because that's kind of what they are here, they're the supporting characters that really kind of lift up these main two. But they all do fantastic work, particularly Sam Elliott, who is, you know, it's a very kind of quiet role, but it kind of speaks, you know, it's got some volume to it in these quiet moments. He finds that kind of ground and just hits it hard, and there's certain moments in this which are just like, whew, oh, I need to take a breather, just all the emotions.
Now, if you ask me, I actually think Bradley Cooper, in his former life, was a chemist.
Why?
Because he gets the perfect formula here. And oh yeah.
Oh, I hate you.
But what am I talking about? I'm talking about the fact that like how this film is actually constructed and how he kind of tricks us into falling in love even further with this film.
I wouldn't say tricks us, it's totally authentic.
Or is it a trick?
Is it a trick?
Is he a magician?
Oh, okay.
Or is he a chemist with the perfect formula?
Oh, stop.
What I'm talking about here is the job of the filmmaker. Well, most filmmakers, because of course some films don't do this.
Some people don't do their job.
Some people... Whoa. Bah, 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 bah. And the job I'm talking about is suspending the disbelief for the audience. So we can just completely fall in love with the world and the film, and we just feel as though it is reality. We feel as though it's happening for the first time. And this film does it so perfectly. And what I want to talk about, which just kind of really trips me out, is the fact of how this film was constructed. I mean, for example, like going into this film, we know we're about to watch a musical, right? We know we're about to watch Bradley Cooper on screen, and we know we're about to watch Lady Gaga on screen. What we're not prepared for is Bradley Cooper playing a character who is achieved and established in the industry as a music artist and knows exactly what he's doing, and Lady Gaga playing a character that has almost given up on her career. So we kind of get this warped sense with our own reality and our own lives and our everyday lives where we're like, oh, yo, Lady Gaga's this superstar, and then we're watching this film where she's not. And so what it allows us to do is it puts us in the shoes of Lady Gaga's character. We sit there with her and we go on her journey through fame. And slowly but surely, as these characters are falling in love, we're falling further in love with them. And I just think it's done so perfectly because essentially, like, we've got this film where we've got our own reality scene in it. Like, we've got a scene where they go on Saturday Night Live and we're like, oh yeah, we know Saturday Night Live. And instead of being pulled out of the film where we're like, oh, we know that from our own lives, we're pulled further in because from the get-go, we're already right there with these characters and this world.
This film just creates a really tangible reality where everything feels utterly authentic. And look, I've seen people have taken issue with some of the structure of this movie. Some of the scenes happen kind of suddenly, I guess, or some of the flow of it can be somewhat erratic at times. But while I did notice those things, they didn't detract anything from the movie at all for me, and I know that they didn't for you either. Because I think, in a way, this movie having a number of imperfections is almost what gives it this extra level of charm that really brings it over the edge. A movie like this that feels so kind of down to earth, having this completely perfect construction would have probably felt kind of off in a way, would have felt glossy, would have felt kind of over Hollywoodized. And I think that would have actually worked against this movie. So I'm not saying any of the kind of flow of this movie being a little bit off is intentional, but what I am saying is that it actually makes the movie better in a way, or at least it did for us.
So yeah, there's a few songs in this film.
Oh boy, there's some songs.
Just a few.
There's some songs.
And my goodness, they are unbelievable.
They're really good. And what makes them so good is that there's some musical films recently that I won't mention the name of, because it's one in particular anyway, that kind of don't feel like the acting is coming through in the songs. You want a film that is about music to really feel the performance to come through in the music, and you want to feel the drama, you want to feel the character, you want to feel the interplay of different people wanting the same thing or different things. That is essential in making a good musical work, that kind of almost conflict in the songs. And this movie totally nails that. From the first number, before the actual, you know, the story is really even set up, it's just fully about character and about the emotion that those songs carry. And honestly, like, I don't know how many of you guys have heard the song that has been released. I mean, the whole soundtrack's out by now because Australia is so late on everything. But that Shallow, that is sung by Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper in the movie, genuinely when it starts, I was just like, woof. Oh boy, this is the real deal.
And this film talks about something really important, which kind of like bleeds through the characters and the performances here as well. It's about singing the songs and really meaning everything that you're seeing. Like, you know, you can get songs sometimes as a singer out there and you might have an incredible voice, but the lyrics aren't so great.
You're just getting the job done. You just turn up and get the job done.
Yeah, and this film's not about that. Like Bradley Cooper's character, Jackson Maine, speaks about the fact that every time you go out on stage, you sing your heart out. You leave nothing out on that stage and you just go for it. And this film really shows that. And it bleeds through Bradley Cooper's performance as well as Lady Gaga's. I mean, we already know she's got an absolutely magnificent voice that just will make almost anyone cry. Whereas Bradley Cooper here has an incredibly beautiful guttural voice.
just raw.
It comes right from his heart, comes right from his gut, and it's raw, and it speaks to your soul. And that is important because film will pick up on it, and my God, does it pick up on it here.
And I guess thematically, this movie is looking at kind of everything you would expect from a movie about the rise to stardom. It's about kind of the sacrifices made along the way. It's about how a person can change as the kind of environment around them changes, as they kind of get a taste of success. This movie also looks at addiction and past trauma in a really interesting way. And so, yeah, this movie is looking at stuff that has been done before. It's actually been done like 3 times already with the previous iterations of this movie. But again, as we've said, in this movie, it's authenticity that makes it kind of incredible. I mean, all of these things, yeah, we know about them, we know they exist, they're things that are talked about all the time. But the way they are portrayed in this movie through these kind of handful of characters that we have is honestly quite stunning, and it leaves a really kind of lasting impression. It feels really, really effective, and kind of everything this movie is exploring has a lot of punch to it that you'll kind of feel by the end of it. Yes, it's a musical, and yes, you're going to kind of want to be on your feet in certain parts, kind of applauding and cheering and singing along with it, and there's also times when you're going to feel kind of miserable. That's how these kind of movies go. But throughout it, you're definitely going to be absorbing what this movie is about kind of under the surface, and I think that is really important. What we're looking at with A Star Is Born is a movie that starts small in scope and continually expands and becomes more extravagant, more vibrant, more loud, and kind of more crazy and hypnotic. But at no point does it ever move away from exactly where we started in terms of intimacy. No matter how large scale this film may get over time, it always feels totally anchored on these 2 characters, on these 2 lead performances, which are utterly incredible.
I think you're right. Intimacy is where this film is just absolutely gold, and it will just absolutely break your heart and break your soul, because my goodness, if you're not in an absolute mess of tears by the end of this film, then
if it doesn't break your heart, you don't have one.
Bradley Cooper talks about fame with this film as if it's like this sonic thing where it's incredibly loud, like, and then all of a sudden it just goes, and it's soft and it's silent and it's intimate and you're alone. And I think that's what this film really does achieve with these 2 characters in particular. Like, we just get such beautiful, subtle moments of pure intimacy, pure humanity, where you've just got people who are raw, people who have their own problems, and it doesn't matter where they are in the world, they're suffering or they're in love. And this film just made me fall in love, made me absolutely cry my heart out, and I hope it does for you too.
So those were our thoughts on A Star Is Born. Have you seen it yet?
Did you like it?
Did you hate it?
Did you like this video?
Of course you did.
Crave more banter.
If so, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel down there somewhere.
And don't forget, check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Breaking Banter.
And you can also support us on Patreon if you feel like doing so, because we have a bunch of cool rewards for you guys on there. Thank you so much to anyone who is already a Patreon supporter. Thank you for watching this video, and we will see you guys in the next one. Are you going to be here for the next one?
Let's hope so.
We'll see how we go.